Okay, this is Mark coming to you from Baker's Grenade. It's still the 1st of December, and I want to expound on this oath of office as pertains to me, just so people can understand my perspective, because I've been corresponding with a few people who have a certain candidate that they want to get behind, and they've said that it's their candidate. That's it. And they like him. He's a nice guy, and he's a good Christian guy, and all that stuff. And that's their candidate, right? And I checked into the guy, and I gave him the benefit of the doubt. But I had to say, no, he's not. He's not going to cut the mustard on this. We have a mission, and the mission is the restoration of the republic. And if you have somebody who is struggled with keeping their oath of office, that's not our guy, right? And there's a couple things that were said to me, and I think I'm not going to mention names, I don't need to, but when people say these things, maybe it's on the mind of other folks too. And so I'm going to address them. Okay, in my life, I took an oath to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States from all enemies, foreign and domestic. Enemy is defined as somebody who subverts the U.S. Constitution. I've read through it. I don't have a problem with it. I have a lot of lib friends. They've read through it. They don't have a problem with it. I mean, people think that it's like, well, the Constitution, that's where slavery comes. Read the document. It is not. The Bill of Rights is 10 line items, and it's very easy to understand. And nobody has a problem with it, except the people who like to influence our lawmakers. Why? Because trampling the rights of the citizens is expedient if you want to make a lot of money, right? Like these outfits, I've said, these letter agencies, they're corporations. And, they have a bottom line, like everybody. And if you have to stop to read somebody their rights and all this, that's a pain. And so they like candidates, they like top cops that, Constitution, yeah, I support it, but it's not the first thing on my list. But us as citizens, if we want to be protected, our Bill of Rights, our Constitution is something that we need to hold close. And if you don't feel that way, if you want a candidate that is a nice guy, or he's from a certain place or whatever, fine. That's your right as an American citizen. You have the right to choose. But for me and the people that I influence, I want a guy that is a hardline, 100% constitutionalist. A 100% constitutionalist doesn't mean he's never flawed. I know nobody's perfect, and that's what got thrown in my face. Nobody's perfect, Mark. You're not perfect. Right, right. But when you make a mistake back there on the road, you point back at it and say, I wouldn't do that again. And you make it well known, I wouldn't do that again. And you don't do it again. But you don't say, yeah, I wouldn't do that again, but then do it the next week. So in my life, I took an oath to protect and defend. A lot of my compatriots took oaths to protect and defend. Some of them didn't make it back to the United States, to the home of the free and the brave. Some of them died here. Some of them died in training. But they were doing it with the express purpose that if they were called to protect and defend the homeland, the Constitution, they would do it. And so they died protecting their country, regardless of whether it was training or an accident. It doesn't really matter. They were ready, willing. Some of them did die in combat. Now, it's not for us as military people to agree or disagree with what our president wants to do, openly. I didn't agree with a lot of it. But that wasn't my position. Like I've said, we all have a position. So I have a stake in the Constitution and protecting it still, to honor the people who didn't come home. And some of them were my friends. So I have to honor that, and I will. And I will never not honor that. I can't. Would go against everything that I'm about. Then, fast forward to 2011, and I have this department who's in the state of Michigan. If you don't know, the Department of Natural Resources has a huge budget, and they're fairly feared by the people running around here all their lives. I didn't register that, but I was coming at it from a different point of view. But they ordered me to depopulate my animals, which means kill my animals, because they friggin' say so. And their justification was, well, because a pig with a straight tail or a curly tail is a feral pig. And it made absolutely no sense, but that is how a corporation works. They're protecting the bottom line. It doesn't have to make sense. You know, this is like Walmart issuing orders to me. I didn't know how to go about this, but when push came to shove, my lawyers were quite unhelpful, and a lot of other people that flocked to us because it was an interesting time. But really, what saved us, saved our bacon, was we fell back on our Constitution, and I was feeling my way through it. I did not know what I was doing. But when I look back on it, it was my constitutional rights that saved everything that this organization, this corporation, wanted to take from me. And what did they want to take? Everything. Everything. If you look at these corporations, they have the ability to do that. And right now, because we are not fully a country that is rule of law anymore, the courts are not necessarily there to protect the citizen. And we scraped by the skin of our teeth, but it was the Constitution that did that. So I have a personal stake in that document. And, you know, like Jerry Boykin influenced me, there are people that I influence, and I'm trying to influence you to vote for the candidate that will die on that hill, the hill of the Constitution. I was told last night, well, this is not a hill that we should die on, you know. Oh, really? What is the hill that you will die on? Fairly respectable people that are talking to me like this that have been in politics for 30 years. Well, maybe that's the problem, you know, who we've had in politics for. Maybe we just need some people who are like me. I've been accused by people that love me of being, you're too black and white. You're just too black and white. Well, it's right or it's wrong, right? You know, we sign it off for flight or we don't. You know, it's not like, well, I think it'll be okay. You know, that's aircraft mechanics terms. You know, it's either right or it's not. And when it comes to our politicians or the people that we're going to elect to run this stuff while we are making the wealth here, we expect them to adhere to their constitutional oath, the oath that they take to protect and defend. They either adhere to it or they don't, right? That's it. Now, I'm not going to put a guy in there or get behind a guy that has already shown that and told me face to face that, well, the Fourth Amendment, yeah, you know, it's really important. But for safety's sake, we got to get Cheech and Chong off the road. Oh, I didn't realize that there was exceptions to the Fourth Amendment. Fourth Amendment says that I'm free from illegal search and seizure or unwarranted search and seizure. But now in the state of Michigan, they can pull you over and take spit out of your mouth. Yeah, and this individual voted for that and now is backing it. So now we would have a governor that thinks that that's really a cool thing to do for the citizens of Michigan. Wrong. It's either right or it's wrong, and that is dead wrong. And not only does he put us in peril, he puts the officers that have to do this in peril because they're being asked to do something that is illegal. That's it for now. This is Mark from Baker's Green Acres. I'll be back at you later. Hey, if you got something to say to me, by all means, respond in the comments section, and I'll try to address it. Thank you.